Okay, so how to be a writer post-lecture. Hopefully you laughed quite a bit at it. I want to start off by discussing the very first paragraph where she is discussing, where it literally goes, the title, How to Become a Writer, then underneath is, try anything else first. Kindergarten teacher, movie star, sanitarium, whatever things. Basically, say the implication from the beginning is don't be a writer. Don't write at all, because it's nothing but misery and poverty and yada 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 yada. But then we start going, and we notice how she goes from being a child psychology major to giving that up and throwing that away entirely to pursue writing. Now, notice I say pursue writing, not become, and not becoming a writer. Now, the writer in this, Lori Moore, she does not actually necessarily went through this process, of course, but it says how to become a writer, and basically this is what a lot of college freshmen will go through as they try to decide what it is they're going to do, and they start realizing that writing is something that interests them greatly. I'm going to say this first off. You can write with any job, any profession, being a writer in any context whatsoever. You don't necessarily have to have a degree in creative writing. Not saying that you don't need one or want one if you want to go into journalism or this, that, and the other, but it's not something that is required. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But she wants, to pursue writing, so she switches majors altogether, something along those lines, or gives up the child psychology idea well into having established that, and pursues writing, and then has all these problems with writing. Specifically, what she says is plot, and how that some of the conferences are different, how each teacher wants something different. There's no set way in how to be a writer, because one teacher focuses on experiences, the other focuses on plot and imagination, and yada 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 yada. And those kind of conferences, or what we actually in writers refer to as workshop, is something that actually does happen. It's very, very interesting, very, very important to go through, but it's really subject to change because they all hit different kind of topics. And what her problem is that there's no way to focus. And then she talks about how her plots are just really crazy, like the old people that are living on a landmine or something like that. It's really kind of hysterical, this fictitious narrator has as far as plot. Because the writer that actually wrote this is actually a very, very good writer, specifically with plot. And the story is a great example of that. But a couple things that she starts talking about, everything starts to degrade over time as she becomes obsessed with this idea of writing and trying to find the right way, or the patented way, or the black and white way to be successful in it, and how it destroys her relationship and puts tension between her and her mother, so on and so forth. In fact, a lot of this is geared towards making writing sound really uncomfortable socially or within your personal life anyway. And it does not necessarily have to be like that in any context whatsoever. But even the author, as this terrible, or the narrator, as these terrible things are kind of going on, she's making all these really terrible decisions. She keeps telling herself, this will be good for my writing. This will be a good experience for my writing. And experience is very, very important for writing, but that does not necessarily mean you have to put yourself through negative experience to be a decent writer. Not at all. But anyway, that's a pretty big misconception that a lot of young writers have from the get-go. And at least she addresses this. A lot of this story is geared at a parody of what could be considered prototypical beginning writer's career. And it's pretty hysterical in that. Specifically within the narration, though, like I said, it's very confessional, it's very therapeutic, and it's addressing even the existence, of course, of the audience, which is something that we don't typically do. I mean, it happens quite often, but we typically don't write that way. And what I've noticed in my own career with reading, student writing, is that you guys use that idea, like you're talking to someone, you use the word you address them, and then you abandon it completely in the work. It's one of those things where if you're going to do it, you need to commit to it and let it go through. And that's one thing that something like Fight Club defies that rule, but does so in such a confined way, in such a how can I say this, disciplined way, that Chuck is able to get away with it, as to where you guys might not, or I might not, or other writers might not for particular projects. And so something that you're going to need to decide from the get-go, how is your story going to be structured? Is it going to be structured in such a way that you are addressing the audience right off? Is it going to be structured in such a way that you are, like Poe, addressing the intellectual and emotional side of terror, of the thriller? And so it's one of those things where, once again, we'll be going through, once we get to that final week, which, remember, that last week is dedicated to writing our story, specifically with character profiles and plot outlines, and our first draft and our last draft, the revision process in between those two things. You'll be going into the story with a plan. Do not, under any circumstance, wake up the last week, blow through those things really quickly, and then just write and turn it in. You remember, your story is what it could be considered your big assessment, but it's something that needs to be disciplined, it needs to be well defined, and it needs to be planned out. And we'll take care of that as we get closer to that. Hopefully you enjoyed this story. Specifically, the narration is one that is very, very unique. Hopefully you can find your own style in relation to your own story, whatever that plot might be, and we'll get to it. So this is the fourth story that we've read at this point in the course. That the first two, of course, being Good Country People, One for the Road, Pit and the Pendulum. Now, how to become a writer. Now, immediately after this, after you finish this video, complete quiz 4, which is, once again, 5 questions, 2 points a pop, answering complete sentences. Very, very simple. Partial credit does apply. After you get through that quiz, go to your blog. This one is going to be a little bit shorter, 2 paragraphs, then respond to 2 posts with 1 paragraph. At this point, there will also be a music discussion, which I'll put up immediately after this, after your blogs and stuff like that are up. Hopefully you like the Black River Killer one that we did with the unique characters. I've got a song that I hope that you guys will enjoy, kind of broaden your horizons a little bit. So there'll be that after your quiz 4, blog 4, music discussion 2, and then unit discussion 2. And then we'll be done with the original narrative unit. So do those things, take them seriously, but once again, this is all literary theory, so that you need to make sure you have a well-developed opinion, and whenever you respond to blog posts and you respond back, that you are doing that in an educated way, one that is well thought out. Also, guys, do not hold back on your opinion whenever you're responding to blog posts, but do not troll. I'm going to say it again. Do not troll. However, do feel free to defend your writing in your post if you feel like you think that someone maybe didn't understand, or didn't get what you were trying to say, but don't back down from your opinion. Also, do not be rude about it in any stretch of the imagination. There's nothing wrong with having a difference of opinion and discussing it like that, but be mature and be adult about it. Alright, so after you do quiz 4, blog 4, do music discussion 2, and then unit discussion 2, and that's our second unit, guys. A quick announcement, and I'll try to throw this back on the announcement pages for Blackboard as well. This coming Friday, I will be leaving for the speech and debate trip to the National Tournament in Dallas. I plan to have Unit 3 up and ready to go before that. I don't know if the hotel that we're staying at is going to have Wi-Fi, because I plan to have everything done beforehand. But if not, I might be doing it there. So you might see a video from Dallas as well. That might be a little fun to do anyway. But anyway, I will see you guys there. Hopefully you guys enjoying the course. Make sure that you are paying attention whenever you do these things. Make sure everything gets in. That's it. Enjoy.